Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of the coffin. You tried lifting the lid, but the enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from opening the lid. You just think you're going to die. Then you think about banging on the lid. So maybe you'll unsettle the dirt and somebody might notice and start digging their way down towards you. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own. You just don't know where to turn. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something that was preciously given to you by God, called life, away from you? And if that's not selfish enough, what about being even more selfish by taking from the people that love and need you most? Your mother, your father, husband, wife, brother, sister, children, or grandchildren. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person I'm reading about from these index cards that waited and waited until it was too late. Instead, be the person that picks up the phone and calls me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you, I will help you take your life back before your life is gone. People like Larry Geist from the Geist Academy at 516-458-2741. Larry Geist and I always tell folks like you, it doesn't matter where you came from, it doesn't matter where you've been. What matters most is that you're here because you want a better today and a brighter tomorrow. You can find Larry at www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geist from the Geist Academy will help you from your addiction to recovery, from depression to happier times, from low self-esteem to higher self-esteem. Call Larry at 516-458-2741. Don't forget to take your slippers off at night. When you're ready to go to bed, take those slippers off. Stick them under your bed, not at the edge of your bed, but under the bed. In the morning when you wake up, drop down to your knees and look for those slippers. Retrieve those slippers while you're on your knees. Utilize what I call knee mail, K-N-E-E mail. Knee mail is your direct link to God each and every morning. To thank God for sceneries like that in the background, that you're able to see the river and the waterfall. For some people, it's too late. Thank God for the home, your food, your family, your clothing. Ask God for guidance and direction for an upcoming week. Ask God for forgiveness and mercy upon you. Then, put your slippers on, stand straight up, roll your shoulders back, stick your chest out, and walk with God 24/7. Do this each and every night. Put your slippers under the bed each and every morning. Retrieve those slippers. Do your knee mail, your personal connection with God, and life will get better. Knee mail. Do it each and every day and walk with God 24/7. Stop over-depending on others, folks. Cut the puppet strings and be real. Let me ask you something. Are you someone's puppet? Some people think it's holding tight that makes one strong, but sometimes it's letting go that makes you stronger. That is the God's honest truth. I had a week off recently to spend with myself, which is always a wonderful centering experience for myself. I'm an introvert, so I love my alone time. But as I took the time to introspect about some relationships that I've had in my life, my Zen-like vacation mindset disappeared. It had happened again, and my mood alternated between mad and depressed all weekend. You see, sometimes I turn into a puppet. You probably know the feeling. Even if you're not sure what I'm talking about yet, you might get the clue now. There's a sense of being a little out of control of your life, a powerful emotion pulling you in a different direction, a nagging sense of worry that never lets up, and losing your grip on the sense of who you are and what's important to you. That's my least favorite part, the loss of my identity. A lie keeps growing and growing until it's as plain as the nose on your face. For me, these feelings come from becoming overly emotionally dependent on others, usually particular relationships between myself and other family members. For many others, maybe for you, it might not be so specific. The dependency might be spread out over your peers, friends, co-workers, maybe even your parents, if you still have them. Ask yourself, what is over-dependency? Let's start out with this Dependency is not a weakness. It's actually healthy as long as you can keep it balanced with independency. We all need to be taken care of, validated, encouraged, and given support. When we can receive these things from others and use them to nurture our spirits, this is a healthy dependency. When we drew strengths from these experiences, it allows us to more easily be dependent at other times, relying and caring for ourselves and being the support to others as well. This is called interdependence, and it's a beautiful ebb and flow in relationships of both giving and being able to receive. As social as we human beings are, this is pretty necessary for our survival. The instincts for us, for it to run deep into our nature, is right there. Overdependency is when you find yourself struggling to return the emotional independence when needed. For me, this involves a lot of worry and obsessing over what someone else thinks of me. It feels like an intense need for someone's approval, otherwise I'm not okay, or I think it's not enough. Sometimes it comes out of the continuous attempts to prove myself, or to be perfect, or seek compliments from this person. Other times I give up too early or avoid people who I feel may never approve of me. You might see this, you might see it in others. You know, those genuinely great people in your life who never admit to being good enough. When we try so hard to constantly please someone else, we start to become unreal with ourselves. Overdependency gives us feelings of emptiness, inadequacy, loss, confusion, and insignificance in life. We feel unreal, but not because we don't matter to others, but because we are making ourselves fake. Where does it come from, you might ask? This varies for different people. Maybe it was the way you were parented or being bullied in school. How about becoming a teenager and suddenly feeling the cultural pressure to be a model, genius, superstar? Maybe it was being treated badly in a romantic relationship. Mine comes just from a tough bringing up I experienced when I was younger. People were highly psychologically sometimes persuasive in my life, cornering me into compliance with maybe unfound promises or sometimes even threats. Sometimes blaming, guilt tripping, shaming, and the shaming came with praise right after. Praised me highly when I did what he wanted to do, but made me feel worthless when that person didn't want me, when I didn't do what that person wanted me to do. I was feeling inadequately. I was highly victimized, knowing that my worth in the eyes was conditional and dependent on how I made that person feel, rather than being recognized as a valuable human being with my own needs and my own good qualities. Becoming a puppet was a way to try to protect my little scrap of self-esteem. But when I left and cut the ties and cut those strings of my puppet, I just cut them and let my arms fall. I didn't realize my puppet strings were still trailing behind me. The person that wasn't as kind to me mentally followed me into other areas of my life, and it has taken great courage and a lot of practice to learn how to take it off and let my self-worth stand on its own again. Whatever your own experience might be, overdependence usually happens when we try to rely on someone in a healthy way and get hurt instead of being supported. Our instincts kick in. We try new strategies, looking for ways to get the love we need and avoid the hurt that we don't want. But the more we try, the more we tend to lose our sight of ourselves. Slowly, we start trading our unique face for a closet of masks and a set of puppet strings attached to our legs and arms. It's a cheap trade in the end, because we are only get temporary approval where we need it, unconditional acceptance and love. Here are some ways to ease back into independence. Pinocchio said, "Don't hurt him, Jiminy. He's my best friend." Jiminy Cricket said, "Your best friend. And what am I? Just your conscience? Okay, that settles it." Let your conscience be your guide. Listen to a small voice in your head. It's our warning for the things that are coming are not good and unhealthy. Be aware of yourself and how you start to act and feel when you are wrapped up in pleasing others. Think honestly about how you've been caring for yourself lately. Get some distance between you and that person. Try spending some time with yourself to see if it really clears your head. It also is a good way to mentally check your relationship with whoever might be manipulating you. The healthy people in your life will give you the space when you need it, then be glad to see you when you return. If you don't do this often, they might express concern, but in a way, that isn't blaming, guilt-tripping, or desperate. This helps you realize you are a real person after all. Maybe you don't need those puppet strings. Give yourself the love that you desperately need. Others aren't the only ones that who can fulfill your need for love. In fact, if you don't love yourself, you might have a hard time accepting or feeling like you deserve their love in the first place. Take some time to really accept yourself. When you do this, there is no need to tell fibs and watch the nose grow just to be loved. Yes, you are flawed. This makes you no less lovable. You deserve time, attention, care, acceptance, appreciation, honesty, and gentleness. Take the weekend to give yourself these things. And give others love. Strangely, overdependency becomes highly self-focused. I found the easiest and warmest way to slip back into the ebb and the flow of independence is to give in small ways to other people around me without expecting anything in return. This is different from being a puppet where I'm dancing around just for the sake of earning some cheap affection. Gently release these puppet strings and make your own decisions about how you want to interact with people. When I am focused on giving, it's also easier to recognize when others are trying to give to me. Then, and only then, you can accept it back with gratitude and the love that they deserve. Let today be the first day of cutting the strings of your arms and your legs and start controlling your own body, your own life. Don't please others with lies and deception. Don't. If people truly love and care you the way you are, they'll take your faults and your greatness. We all have faults. I have faults. I have tons of faults. But the people that truly love me accept for who I am. It is when I lie is when the acceptance is totally 100% unacceptable. Start today with your new life. If you need to talk to me, 844-405-HELP. Remember, I keep hard copies of every single show. Text me at 631-599-0218 or call me at 844-405-HELP. I can give you a hard copy because I do read this from the teleprompter pretty fast because I only have so much time for these episodes. But I'd be more than happy to email you or send you a copy. Again, cut those puppet strings. Don't be someone else's puppet and reach for God and ask God for guidance and direction. And may God bless you.